Doug, obviously not the performance you guys are looking for, but with Dennis specifically kind of struggling out there shooting, what have you seen from him and, one for his last 16?
Well, first of all, I think he's a little hobbled, so that's part of it. But bringing Dennis here wasn't all about offense. It's about defense, and that's what this is about. When I look at this isn't about offense. We've talked about offense, all these different things. If you're going to give up 144 points, if you're going to close a quarter in the second quarter and give up 40 and start the third and give up 40, you're not going to win many games. So, like struggling shooting the basketball, it's going to happen. Not super worried about Dennis. He puts in his work. He'll find his rhythm. But there is a rhythm to the game that can't be found when you're facing a set defense every single time. And, I get offense, and I hear that, but it's really about the defense. If you don't get stops, you don't win in our league, period. That's just the way that it is. And you can't close out with your hands down and people shooting that are hot. You got to make sure that you're doing all the simple, fundamental things that equate to winning basketball. That's what we have to understand on a night-to-night basis. There is no other magical potion or pill that is going to get you out of that, because this league, first of all, is really hard. It's hard to win in this league, but it's even more hard when you are missing assignments and those things on the defensive end and then trying to score against a set defense.
To that tune a little bit with your defense, I'm sure there's a lot of things you'd like to be cleaned up, but is there anything sort of top of list that you need to see every single night from that group?
I think there's a level of physicality that we have to have. We have 3 pillars. They are make them feel us. That's physicality. Communicate. So when you're seeing switches and guys are going the wrong way, they obviously didn't communicate. There's 2 ways to communicate. One is verbally and the other is with hand gestures. So if I'm going to switch, I'm going to holler out, red, 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 and then I'm going to point. So if you don't see guys doing that, then there's no communication. And then there's the compete level. That is first and foremost, like at the highest level of what it is. When you're thinking about playing defense, so when you're watching film and you guys are looking, are you down in a defensive stance and do you have your hands out? That's a universal athletic position. That is what defense starts with, first and foremost. And if you are not in that position, then you're not prepared to play defense, period. Because then the first thing that happens when a movement happens, you get down to go. Now you are behind the play. So those are some of the fundamental things that just are an absolute must. We're going to continue to hammer them home, and we will continue down the path. That's the one thing that we are going to do here for Sacramento Kings basketball. We are going to play defense, and we're going to win basketball games because of our defense.
Along those lines, you mentioned that level of compete. I'm curious, coming off of that, the communication that you had with your team yesterday, how disappointing, I guess, was it to not kind of see that level of competition from them?
Like I say, there's talking about it and then there's being about it. You can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, but there's going to be a point where the ball gets thrown up and then there has to be actions behind what it is that you say. So that group in there has enough. There's enough depth. There's enough talent. There's all those things. There's a spirit. I'm a spirit person. And your spirit got to be right. Your spirit must be right, individually, and then collectively. And if it's not, that's what you're gonna see when you get out there on that floor. It's gonna be highly evident. And that's what you got to face. Basketball, there's ups and downs to it. So as low as you feel is as high as you feel. I get that. You never get too high, never get too low. But there is a level of compete, and that's what your spirit is about. Am I going to fight for my brother? Am I going to be there for my brother? Am I going to talk for my brother? Am I going to hit somebody for my brother?
Doug, not to beat a dead horse here with the defensive stuff, though, second game in a row that Keon's playing just in the fourth quarter after giving up multiple 40-point quarters before that. Is there a way to find a way to get him on the court since he is one of your best defensive players?
Yeah, I mean, like trying to play 10 players and find a rhythm for that is difficult. Like there's a log jam at that position. One guy plays damn near the whole game, the other guy plays a few minutes, and then there's Keon. But I know in this league that things happen how they happen. And the one thing that we're going to do is try to figure it out. So we'll see. I mean, defense has to be played. You know, there's moments where guys are playing good, and then all of a sudden we just forget what we're doing out there. And we have to have attention to detail, focus 24 seconds at a time. Seems like 24 seconds to lock in isn't that difficult, but it is. I get it. But whenever you're turning over the ball 18 times, like you could stand for 18 turnovers and 11 points. You could survive. But 18 turnovers with 37 points, they're scoring every single time. That can't happen. Listen, Keon knows how I feel about him. I love the kid. Been a big fan of his for a long time. So he'll get his opportunity. It's just how the game happens. So love our fans, understand our fans. I totally get it. I'm here to win basketball games. But first and foremost, there's a way to play. And we have to find that way to play. We have to trust that way to play. And it starts defensively, period. In the conversation. It just is what it is.
Doug, do you see enough like will or want to back there in terms of?
Sporadically. I think that you see it sporadically, yeah. But the consistency and the willingness to be consistent at that. You know, when we played OKC the other night, you know, you win the first quarter and then you drop the rope. But they are very consistent with their approach. They're very even if it goes bad. It's not like, oh, damn. It goes bad, it's okay. We're still going to be boxes and elbows. We're going to be down in defensive stance, and we're going to have our damn hands out. Then we're going to hit somebody and rebound the basketball before anything. And then offense is supposed to be fun. That's the gift of playing defense. So first and foremost, like, you got to stop somebody. You got to take pride in that together. This is not golf. This ain't no individual sport. This is a team sport, a collective sport. That's why I said collective spirit. So, yeah, I get the question, but there's a consistency at which you need to approach something. And we see it. You guys see it. All of a sudden it's like, damn, there they go. They playing. But it's not for long enough. In this league, that flashes, it's not it. You know, that's not good enough in our league.
Doug, your messaging has been consistent with if you play defense, that's what's going to get you and keep you on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
10 games into the season, how much is right now, like what's the balance of letting the guys figure it out together? And
that's kind of where we're at. Because listen, I've played, and every time you make a mistake, you don't want to get taken out of the game. So, okay, there's that. But multiple times, that's when we begin to have an issue and a problem. So that's where we're at. We're trying to find that balance of allowing guys to play because there's a rhythm to the game. I understand that. As an ex-player, I totally get it. But then there's a standard. And the Sacramento Kings are going to have a damn standard. Period. As long as I'm here, there's going to be a standard. Now, we haven't reached it yet, obviously, because that shit is unacceptable. Excuse me. Hope I don't get fined. But it's a must. There's no middle ground with this. If we really are trying to be about what we about, we're going to sacrifice for each other, not care about one end of the floor, and dive into the other end of the floor like some damn animals. Whether you can do it or you can't do it. One thing that I know about defense is there's individual defense, and we have some individual defenders, and there's team defense. And that's what it takes to be successful in this league. We have to be a team on the defensive end. That requires communication, that requires physicality, and that requires a level of compete that we did not see. And we gonna see it.
Coach, we know there's some difficult matchups with Keegan out. You started Precious tonight.
Yep.
You responded with a double-double.
Yep.
Curious if what you liked from it and if that's a combination we might see going forward.
Yeah, I thought Precious was great. There's some grown man things that Precious does out there, and I'm all for it. There's a level of physicality. There's a level of aggressiveness, and he rebounds the basketball. He rebounds the basketball at that position, and we need that because there's some big teams in this league. And his size, aggressiveness, and he's figuring it out still. So there's a bumpy part to that. Domas comes back. There's a bumpy part to that. Like, I get it. I'm not here for excuses. It's a reality. This is a reality-based business and a production, and I totally understand that. But we're going to damn figure it out. Appreciate y'all.